FedEx full, we commanding the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, ain't no need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Command is moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. K-Dot in the mid, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Join the damn squad, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. K-Dot.
Welcome everyone to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. This episode, we have the All-22 review against the New York Giants, and then it's Thursday night football. We are at Lambeau Field against the Green Bay Packers, 1-0 against 1-0, potentially deciding some playoff seeding if all goes well for both teams, but it's a long way to go, but it's an exciting game. We will see about that. So, before we begin the episode where we do Commanders offense against Packers defense, flip the script, and then our predictions, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
Still trying to not curse, so. And I'm going to keep it pretty simple. If you know the show, you know what's coming. I from wherever you are, I want to be able to sit here when this episode goes live and they hear you from wherever you're at, okay? You all know what's coming. Just Amit, you gonna help me out with this?
Yeah.
All right. Share. This.
Shit.
Well, you can't curse the feature.
No, it only picks up when you do it. It's different.
Oh, man. Yeah, share this stuff, guys. It's the season. It's good. Things are good.
Things are good. Share it, please. We greatly appreciate it. And so beginning episodes when we do previews is to first look back at our own film. And so we're going to go to the All-22 review featuring our very own K-Dot.
It's the All-22 review on District Divided. Bitches!
So does that not count?
I don't know what we're doing.
All right, cool. All-22 review. Played
against a personal thing for me, and now it's become more than that.
Played against the New York Giants, 1-0, job done, 21-6 victory over them. K-Dot has gone through the All-22 and will now break down what he saw. Over to you.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out how it is I want to break this down, but also knowing that we might spin these All-22 episodes out into a separate thing. I didn't want to go too long because still got to preview the next episode. So the way I got it broken down is I looked at defense. I actually, for the first time, I looked at defense a lot more than I actually looked at offense. I just found it more interesting. So I want to go defense. I want to go offense, and I'm going to look at some key specific people or position groups and just my takeaways from what it is that's happening as far as that goes. Okay. All right. So defensively, what popped? What showed out? What looked good? Number one, and I think everybody knows, run shutting off. Like they were not able. New York was not able to really establish anything on the ground. You wonder, well, how did they do that? What's 15 carries, 36 yards as far as the running backs, 2.4 yards a carry. It's just look, man, what they did in this offseason as far as getting them big boys up front has done a lot. The early downs, they usually at like 5. It's really hard to tell whether or not they're running like 5 guys on the line or some like hybrid of a 3-4 or something, because some guys are standing, some guys ain't. It never really looks the same. There's just so many wrinkles to it. But as far as the 5 guys on the line in early downs, Goldman and Payne inside, Wise and Kinlaw at the end, Jacob Martin, who actually looked decent, coming in and out at certain points. I know that's just not a name that anybody was really anticipating anything from necessarily this year, but it looked damn good. Just muddied a lot of the IDs as far as like what anybody was going to do as far as when he was coming in. But that group, the Goldman, Payne, Wise, Kinlaw, when those 4 guys are on the field at any given point in time, it's a problem. It's a problem. They're big. They just clog up space. And more importantly, they allow Bobby Wagner and these other guys at the second level to eat at a level at which they necessarily weren't last year. Okay. So what really pops off the screen to some degree is like, oh, wow, Bobby Wagner actually looks better than he does last year. And the only reason is that he's getting more help from the guys up front with that. So it's amazing to see. Also, like a 3rd and long when they go to a Payne Armstrong inside and then Louisville and Miller on the outside as far as the pass rushers. they didn't necessarily need to like you get the 4 down linemen there to generate pressure at the level at which they are. I know everybody was looking at the PFF stats. They were all over Twitter and everything. Everyone's going nuts over it. Yeah, they know what's happening as far as the rotation on the defensive line. And from what I'm seeing, it even looks like they might have even more versatility with some of these guys than they even realize at this point. So I can imagine every week there's going to be some new wrinkle. They're going to try somebody somewhere else just to see what it is that happens. This is not stuff that we were seeing at this clip last year. The most that we saw was like, all right, Payne, they got Payne out at end, the elephant end, right? And that was something that we kind of circled. But what it is happening right now, it's like it's crazy. And I think another thing from a surprise standpoint, as far as on the defensive line, is Johnny Newton not necessarily being a focal point that everybody's necessarily looking at on the defensive. It's not that he did a bad job. I actually think he did a pretty decent job when he was in there. But if you look at the snap counts, he's much more in line with Jacob Martin than he is in line with Payne or Kinlaw or any of those guys. So just something to watch out for. I know Newton was somebody that we all kind of circled going into this year. Yeah, man, Payne and Kinlaw, they really just stood out. Like, I'll get more into them because I do want to talk a little bit more even about the defensive line as we go on. But another thing you actually see on the tape, and it's really, really present, it's something that I talked about in the pregame that I really wanted to see was the communication. You saw everybody hitting each other, doing whatever, and getting in line where they needed to be. There was rarely any situation that I saw that it was something just blown. Like you saw last year, especially early on, there's like, nobody's over there. Why isn't there anybody over there? And it's because they weren't doing what they needed to do to communicate and then get guys in position. It felt as though the secondary was like in step with each other. There were points in this game where almost like the secondary played together for a few years. Like that's how good it is that they looked and they were communicating. They're just getting things done. And as far as the snap counts, you can see Wagner, every snap on defense. Luvu, every snap on defense. Quan Martin, every snap on defense. Like those guys shine. And Will Harris, man, from the safe position, kind of looking like a Frankie Luvu light. Like the dude's physical. He likes to hit. He likes to play around. And this defense overall, this is the most I've seen as far as a swarming defense for our team since like London Fletcher was back there. Okay. Like when you turn on even when I looked and I started doing the replay of just the game, the television broadcast, what I always loved, I think it was Greg Williams might have said this, that he was like, if I watch the game and somebody's getting tackled, I expect to see like 10 of you guys within the frame of the television. And you're seeing something along those lines. Like you never really saw it with us in the last few years. You saw it with like the Ravens. You see that with the Steelers. Like you're seeing it with us. They're building something, guys. So on defense, yeah, that's what I'll say more than anything. As far as anything to fix, option discipline, as far as between the running back and the quarterback, you got guys like Luvu. Some of these guys, they get a little too juice to try to do something. You don't need to over pursue. You need to kind of stay where you need to be and make that decision properly and flatten that fucking boot or whatever it is they're trying to do. Like there's just some more discipline that needs to happen on an individual level there.
Sure.
And also, what else do I say? Yeah, I ain't even gonna say that. And then like special teams, I kind of loop it in with the defense covered. Like Abdul Carr, it should be illegal for the Giants to use him on special teams, in my opinion. Like, that's not okay. It's kind of like we saw Deshaun Jackson back there doing punt returns. It's like, no. You play enough snaps on one side of the ball. You shouldn't be allowed to do that. No. Can't do it. Abdul Carter is going to be a problem. The way they were using him in this game, I'm kind of questioning because I'm just like, there's some things with him that kind of, and I know injuries, personnel, things like that, they can't do everything they want to do. But I just say Abdul Carter is somebody that we might have to concern ourselves with going forward.
100%. He's incredible.
Yeah. But the bigger front absolutely changed the math of what's happening with this defense. The front four can get pressure by themselves is a huge thing without the blitz. You look at the blitz rate compared to last year to this year, night and day, even though it's after just 1 week, it was something that I think is going to continue to go forward. Now, on offense, what popped out? Number one, blocking as far as the receivers downfield. I love to see that. You got all these guys are really, really eager to lay hands on people to move them. I think I saw one video that was going around on Twitter where people were criticizing Terry McLaurin and what it is he was doing. And I would just say, unless he's Mr. Fantastic, how the hell is he supposed to lay hands on that guy? Like, you guys are being ridiculous about the stuff that you guys are looking at with this. I like that there was effort across all lines as far as blocking. You saw guys blocking to the second level, to the third level. They never stopped. That motor thing that we talked about on defense with the guys forming, this is your offensive equivalent of that. That's what you want to see. You want to see guys not giving up on any of it. And John Bates is a problem. He's a problem. Okay. Love that dude. But also, outside of what happened, especially Ben said it. I want you to do some flashy things on the offense, but from a blocking standpoint, at least from what I saw, at least 1 or 2 times, I was like, all right, dude, okay, cool. All right, cool. You're making a name for yourself. You're not John Bates, but you're making a name for yourself. You can do something more than that. Bill. The rushing attack. I mean, the 42-yard thing takes everything and kind of skews it out of whack as far as what it's doing. But if you look overall throughout the course of the game, we did kind of do what we wanted to do, at least effectively, when it comes to run the football. We could have probably done it at a higher clip, but I also think they were trying to do things with Jayden as far as moving the ball down the field. Even though that looks, fuck it. Let's 10 minutes in. We're good.
You're good.
Jayden. I'll get to Jayden here now too. Definitely not his best game. I mean, we said that coming out of that game. There are just some absolute things that he missed. He made it a lot harder for some of the receivers than it needed to be. Even some of these, a lot of the completions that you saw were just
you're behind. Yeah.
It just didn't need to be like that. So but then he drops that drops that dime, that boot dime to Chris Moore, and you're like, oh, that's why. And he can have what was strange was how much cleaner some of those balls look when he was on the move compared to when it is he was standing still. It feels as though, I don't know what's happening, but there need to be like a slowdown. Hey, slow down. They instead of maybe smiling, more just neutral face.
I thought of that more as he was like excited and maybe thinking a little bit versus when you're on the move, it's just a flow. Like you're just in rhythm. Like that's what I was thinking.
It felt that way. It felt as though, because you could see how effortlessly he was doing certain things when he was moving around. It did feel like he was just a little giddy, and it might just be that excitement level. He was just really happy to be playing football again, which is a good problem to have from a quarterback's perspective. And if you look at the 3 sacks that occurred, one I'm putting absolutely on him. The other 2, of the 3 sacks, the first one was the screen. That's just good defense. It's just great defense. And credit to Jayden for not doing something stupid with the football, because a lot of guys would have done something absolutely asinine with that football. That's not trying to make a play where you don't need to make a play. You survive until the next down. Cool. Good move on Jayden's part. The second one, that is all on Conerly. That's just completely on Conerly. Burns beats him clean. There was nothing that Jayden could do. It was over from the get-go. It was just one of those things that just kind of happened. The third one is the one in which he held the ball for way too damn long. He had multiple options he could have got the ball out to. But what it is that if you look at the broadcast, and you look at exactly Jayden, they show it for a quick second, he immediately apologizes to the sideline. He knows he screwed up, and he's my bad. I know. And here's the thing, with that 1 sack, right, that I would put on him, I'm completely taking care. I'm good with that once every few games. That's those moments where Jayden's going to turn something that shouldn't be into something, right? So you got to give him some latitude to make those sort of moves every once in a while. As far as he's going to hold on the football on because hey, he's going to do a pirouette and some other stuff. And he's going to find somebody in the end zone. You don't want him taking the unnecessary hit. You don't want him doing things that are going to necessarily get him injured. But there is a little bit of I call that special sauce. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. And some people just got to get used to it.
On this side of the ball, because I noticed that sometimes Jayden was holding the ball. I have 2 questions.
Yep.
The first one is the wide receivers. Were they getting separation when the Giants were playing man?
Funny you should say that. I actually had a stat that I wrote down because I think the big thing that a lot of people were talking about was Terry McLaurin himself, and I don't know if I actually have it written down right here, but I think I remember it. Is that Terry? I know everybody last year looked at the stat that he was the number 1 contested receiver, right? All these contested catches, and contested means that you have less than 1 yard of separation from the defensive back. In this particular game, every target that Terry had, he was more than a yard away from the defensive player. Just keep that in mind, okay?
Cool.
He was a yard away. And there's more about the Terry thing, which is in all honesty, that could have flipped that very easily to having a stat line that everybody's oh, whoa.
If that deep ball gets connected.
If the deep ball gets caught, and not to mention, that replay was wrong. He caught that ball.
He caught it. Yeah.
He caught that ball. So, if you look at those 2 plays alone, he's pushing in there 100 yards, and we're great.
Deep ball, by the way, he's already got the corner beat. It's over.
It's over. So, if Jayden connects on that, if Jayden just connects on that and they still get the other call wrong, you're feeling a lot better about that stat line. So, all I'm saying for the Terry McLaurin aspect of it, it's there. It's right there. So, it wasn't, I didn't see anything from the Terry tape that made me think maybe with the deep ball, they're just out of sync because they haven't spent a lot of time together. That's a possibility. But as far as Terry's conditioning, I'm sorry. No. And he was out there for more snaps than any other receiver on the team, even more than Deebo. He was out there. So that's just something to take in mind. Terry's still still a huge part of this offense. And once again, if you flip one or two of those plays, it's a completely different way you feel about the game. And that's what I'm thinking. This was going into the season, what I always thought the Terry McLaurin was going to kind of be. Right?
What about Deebo and Noah?
Deebo, Noah's just doing better as far as his route running and getting open. But there are more. What you're seeing with the Deebo, especially Deebo before they snapped the ball and a lot of the pre-motion, he was motioned more than they did in San Francisco in the last few years. That's how much we're putting this guy in motion and how much he's the focal point of what we're trying to do offensively. It just clears space, man. Like it keeps the defense honest and it keeps these guys like kind of shifting because he's the guy that they're worried about. Like they need to be worried about Ekeler, I think, a little bit more. They need to be worried about Noah Brown if he's going to continue to be able to be a valve for Jayden Daniels. Like it's just going to be a situation where if some of these receivers do step up just a modicum, get a little more open, maybe there are more times that we're throwing the ball deep down the field. You're going to have opportunities for success. Deebo himself has created a situation in which there is more room to throw the ball than there has been previously. They didn't have anybody that they need to motion or change the defense on to worry about, all right, where is he going to attack us? Because that was the thing. They put Deebo constantly moving around. You have no idea where he's going to be. So, like, that aspect of it was just something I know that is helping the offense out tremendously. At least that's what I saw.
And my final question before we move on to the Packers preview is the offensive line, right? So they went against a really good defensive line, a very talented defensive line in the New York Giants. How did it look in pass protection and then in contrast to run blocking?
Overall, offensive line gets passing grades in all marks as far as me. I think everything looked good as far as they had a lot of guys in that GT count. They had a lot of guys moving, a lot of guys going in motion, a lot of guys getting to the second level. I think the person that I did single out that I wanted to talk about, and I said previously, was Josh Conerly himself. Everybody on the defense, like everybody knows the Kinlaw got beat down once. It's just crap to whatever. But overall, the defensive line, especially interior of the defensive line, I thought did a good job, especially because, like, overall, we go over what the sack numbers were. You talk about the pressure rate, but there is more than just that sack. Jayden was holding on the football a little longer than he needed to be, so that all kind of factors into some things. But as far as Conerly goes, moves well. He's limber. He can move. You can see the speed that he kind of has there to him. There's a lot of stuff as far as just from a power standpoint, like straight up. If I know I'm just in pass pro and I've just got to go and I got to use my strength to do it, he's still growing. Like he's not in his final form. So like there's an aspect of that that's going to get better as far as him being able to anchor the way that he needs to anchor. But as far as from a mobility standpoint, when he's in the right position, which once again he's still looking out, there's only one or two times that there's the one time that he gets just outright beat. That's the sack. There are other times where Cliff Kingsbury did enough to kind of slot some protection over there to him or make sure that the play and where Jayden's going or where Deebo's going is away from that particular area to kind of neutralize what was happening there. And I consider that to be something that's going to continue to go forward, especially when we talk about this package preview on Mark Parsons. But Conerly overall, like it's more of just as if anything, a faster get off and just more power. I think the power will get there. The faster get off is just going to be something that with repetition, this was his first out. I think it'll get better. But Conerly showed me a lot in this game where I'm like, okay, I think we're good here. I think that there might be some chances where you want to rotate him out just a little bit, maybe Wiley, like just like if he needs a reset, like being an offensive lineman at that sort of level, like with some of the guys that we're going to come across, there could be one of those games where it's just like, hey, this is a confidence killer. And I think that we're in a position right now with Conerly, even if you need to come out for a little bit because you need to work with the mat, he's on the right trajectory.
Okay. No, that's an encouraging report from game one, right? Yeah, he gave up the sack, but it looks like, at least from the technique standpoint, it's there. The athleticism is there. It's just about sort of growing into himself, if that makes sense. And once that comes, we're feeling pretty good about our bookend tackles in Tunsil and Conerly. Any final thoughts here, Kate, before we move to the Packers preview?
Yeah, no, overall, man, good performance all around. They shut these guys down. New York never looked comfortable in the game, especially Russell Wilson. But the focal point going forward for this team, the thing to look out for, and trust me, we're going to know real soon if it's real or not, is this front four.
All right. And with that, we thank KDOT for the All-22 review and move over to our preview against the Green Bay Packers.
I'm going to outro first, right? Right? Is that what we do? Yeah, cool. All right, cool.
It's the All-22 review, a district divided. Bitches!
And we're getting back into the swing of things over here, so appreciate it. And so once again, we are playing the Green Bay Packers Thursday Night Football. It's on Prime Video. I believe the kickoff time is 8:15, 8:16, something like that if you want to be real technical with it. And so without further ado, we go into it. And before we go to our offense against their defense, we always set the context in the form of the injury report. So here we go. Beginning with us, you see that Tress is questionable. Dan Quinn spoke about Tress, said, hey, he hit some good balls. We're expecting good things from him. Sounds like he is going to play. Mitch Wisnowski was signed to the practice squad just in case, but it sounds like Tress is going to travel. Sounds like he's going to be fine. And then there's Deatrich Wise, who, again, knee injury, but full participant, limited at the very end. I would anticipate he does play unless they're being overly cautious. The rest are good to go. Now we go over to the Green Bay Packers, who have a much longer list and a more interesting list. So Brenton Cox Jr., who's one of the backup D linemen, he is out. Bo Melton, who's another backup corner there, he is out. And the two names that are questionable, that forget Micah Parsons being questionable, he's going to play. But the two that are interesting are Aaron Banks and Zach Tom. Those are two of their starting 5 offensive linemen, and there are legitimate concerns about their availability for this game. So that's something to look out for, KDOT, is their availability. And we'll touch on that when we talk about the Packers offense against our defense. But as we always do, we begin with our offense featuring Jayden Daniels, Bill, against this Packers defense with recently acquired Micah Parsons, but plenty of other names you need to know. Rashan Gary, Devontae Wyatt, Xavier McKinney, Quay Walker. We'll get into all of them. KDOT, on this side of the ball, what are you looking for? Matchups to exploit? What are you worried about? The floor is yours.
It's going to be the same things that are kind of every week. Just depends on like what the defense is showing. But these guys show speed and a lot of zone. So what do I want to do? A lot of speed and a lot of zone. Deebo! It's your time again, son. Motion. Deebo should be tired by the end of this game because I'm going to move him around constantly. He's your safety valve. He's the release button. Again, how much attention, number one, are they going to give him that opens up other opportunities for guys like Terry McLaurin, other guys like Austin Ekeler, things around the line of scrimmage. But as far as the Deebo and moving around, that's your thing, is to see Deebo in what it is he can do, especially early on in the game and sitting in certain positions in the zone. If Jayden can deliver the football, there are going to be some opportunities for Deebo to break some tackles, to get some room, to get some stuff going. They're playing that zone defense. That's what Deebo can excel at, right? Deebo has strength, but he is not necessarily the dude who's going to beat somebody off the line and juke him out and do what have you and then get a bunch of separation. Deebo's like rough and tumble. Hey, found a spot, deliver the ball right now. Give it to me now. And then you can do what you need to do, Aaron. So, like, that's going to be – I want to see Deebo run every route in the tree, okay? There should be nothing that they don't throw or use Deebo to do. That's going to be a huge thing. It keeps the defense honest. And if they play anywhere like New York played it, it's going to allow other things to kind of open up here in the offense. Outside of that, you got a defense that loves to bluff. They love to do things. They love to show you stuff and then not necessarily do it. You know how to do it to keep them honest? If they're going to bluff some pressure, give the ball to Austin Ekeler. Let's see how that looks, at least early on. I know Bill's going to get his carries, but still from a physicality standpoint, as far as what Ekeler does in the tackles, is still something that needs to happen and needs to be exploited. I need to see how it is that Green Bay is going to react if we do something like that. What do they got to do? Are they going to stack the box? Are they going to stop bluffing the pressure? Like, what are they going to do if we start getting a little physical when it comes to the run game, especially inside early in the game? Like, that's something that I'm absolutely going to be looking at. Pony personality, we talked about last year. If you see a light box and you see them two deep safeties, run it down that goddamn throat. All right? Physicality. That's what we are now, okay? I know even with Jayden Daniels and the finesse, and we can do this and do that, but look at that Giants game. That's a physical team right there. We got a dude that might run like a gazelle, But overall, the rest of that offense all about punching you in your goddamn mouth. All right. And that's what we're doing. That's who we are. Anything else? Yeah. Look, if they could keep the pressure under control, if they could get Micah Parsons the fuck out of the backfield, which is going to be the big thing, right? So when I talk about Deebo and I talk about Austin Ekeler, is to shift a lot of things away from wherever Micah Parsons is. I understand that they got Rashan Gary. I understand they got some other guys in the defense you need to be worried about. But there's one guy above all other guys that you do need to be worried about in this game. And it's a dude who, as of right now, he has more sacks against us than any other player, than any other team in the National Football League. We know this guy, all right? We know him really well. He sacked Jayden, I think, 4.5 times last year, okay? No, you're not allowed to touch our guy like that this time around, okay? So Deebo shifting away. Jayden, control your pocket. Shift what you need to as far as the line of scrimmage away from him. I want to isolate, especially Micah Parsons, when it comes to that front seven, is something that I just don't want to deal with. I want to make sure that Conerly has as much help as he can by shifting as much as you can away from him. I feel much rather have Laramie Tunsil or somebody else dealing with that dude than it is our guy, Josh Conerly, especially after what I saw we won. We talk about that confidence. I don't need to be completely shot after 2 weeks of football.
So this side of the ball, I was telling Kate this before we started recording this. I decided to watch the Packers-Lions game yesterday instead of watching it right after on Sunday. I had soccer, so that was one reason. But the other was just like, I want to watch this game from the perspective of we are playing them. So what can we do? And first things first, I want to shout out their defensive coordinator, Jeff Hafley. He's really good at what he does. He's got a lot of pieces for sure. But this Packers defense, like K-Dot was talking about, very fast. They are physical. They have as decorated a defensive line, I would say, as the New York Giants do when you include the edge rushers with Rashan Gary and Micah Parsons, which may surprise some people because you're like, oh, no, well, I've heard about Brian Burns. I've heard about Kayvon. Yeah. Rashan is very good, and he gets activated when Micah Parsons is on the field. He was on the field for about a little under half the snaps, but when Micah's on the field, he gets activated. Micah's bull rushing Penei Sewell, who's one of the strongest linemen in the league, and he's getting pushed back. So I think of Josh Conerly, and I'm like, oh boy, like he will need help. He will need help. Now, where Detroit struggled, because you may have heard, oh, the Packers are unbelievable. Some people have them number one in their rankings, and I think it's justifiable right now. The Detroit Lions essentially had 3 new linemen in the interior. They had Glasgow move from guard over to center, so I view that as new-ish. At least he's moved in there. And they got a couple guys in Christian Mahogany, and I'm forgetting the other guy's name, Ratledge, their second-round pick, that were not ready for that game. So Goff is consistently getting pushed, but when Goff was able to find that second, he was able to do some stuff. So there's some encouragement over there. Kid, I love the Deebo point. The other thing I was going to say is Detroit got going when David Montgomery got going. It wasn't Jahmyr Gibbs. It was David Montgomery. So that, to me, is Austin Ekeler. That, to me, is think about activating Chris Rodriguez. I don't think we will, just to be clear. But, like, that's the kind of guy that just he runs north-south. That's it. I just need 2-3 yards from him to do something similar to what David Montgomery was doing for the Lions. But I expect our interior to hold up a bit better. It is that key piece, Micah Parsons, Josh Conerly. One other thing that stood out to me watching this game, Quay Walker, number 7. Oh my God. He is fast. He is strong. He is physical. And he is also capable of being manipulated quite easily. Mm-hmm. So Jayden versus Quay Walker is something I'm very much looking forward to because when Jared Goff, when his eyes moved even a little, Quay moved about 5-6 yards. Okay. So like, that is the chess match, right?
Control.
If Jayden gets enough time, so this is where that offensive line plays so important, why we invested so much in it, Quay will move, and they play zone 91% of the time. That's second most in the NFL through 1 week. 91% is crazy, though. Like, that is a lot. They are trying to do sort of what Philadelphia did last season. I see the vision with what they're doing. They do rush 5 at times, so you're going to get opportunities. This is where Jayden's legs are huge. He needs to be active. That's where I get encouraged listening to K-Dot talk about how he just seems to throw better on the run. At least he did last week. More of a rhythm, less standing in the pocket thinking, which I still think will be fine. But for now, rolling out and stuff like that's okay. Just needs to be alert. And if he gets time, against Quay Walker. That's the huge matchup I'm looking at, K-Dot. Very excited for this side of the ball.
No doubt. I mean, the thing with the Jayden thing is like one of the criticisms I have for Jayden back going to LSU was stop looking for the home run. Like, you don't need to always look for the home run. Like, take what the defense gives you. Last year, he surprised the hell out of me through a good portion of the season not doing that. If I watched this last Giants game and that was the only tape I had on Jayden, I'd say you need to fix that from your LSU days, and you need to start taking what the defense gives you. And what allows him to kind of get away with some of that stuff is his legs. It's his ability to make things happen kind of out of nothing. And that's something he relied on back in LSU. And still looking at the league and that photo that went viral of him smiling at Brian Burns, he still has some of that on this level. He's that elite of a talent, but it never works out for you. Patrick Mahomes had his period of time where he tried to do that constantly. Doesn't work. Josh Allen, everybody knows he had that time where he was going through that sort of thing. You got to kind of switch it up. Like, there is an aspect of, I still, like I said, when it came to that third sack in that Giants game where I'm like, he held on to it, I will take that sometimes. I know I'm going to be frustrated, but I know Jayden and his ability, you have to kind of let him go out there and be special every once in a while. So that's the thing. Just overall, I'm with you. Let's get into a rhythm. Let's get stuff out. That's how you're going to beat this defense. And the other piece as far as the next factor, when it comes to everything else with the zone, is the Terry McLaurin piece, especially after what I saw in that New York Giants game. I do think Terry's going to have some opportunities.
He's going to get chances, dude. I was watching that game going, oh, this could be a Terry game.
This is another guy that you want him to, like, if you start stacking receivers, that's where I want Terry kind of hidden within the stack. There's some stuff that he's going to be able to do as far as like some slot fade stuff, some corner stuff. This I expect Jayden to take 2 or 3 shots to Terry in this particular game.
My only other question to you, K-Dot, is who are typically the zone beaters? You can pick personnel or you can pick position if you'd like to. When you're talking about an offense against a defense that plays so much cover 3, etc.
We have it now. Like, that's the thing that we have now. That's why I talk about that Deebo piece, and that's why I'm talking about a lot of the stuff pre-snap, right? Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that like I said, they like to disguise some things. They like to show you some things and then go on other things. But what'd you say that zone percentage was?
91%.
And that was against Detroit. So like they're going to try to do some things there in that same line. They're not going to flip the script on what it is they do defensively. If they do, maybe that guy who I still don't know whose name it is as far as the defense coordinator, is that smart, and he is that damn good, but I don't expect that to be the case. Deebo, Ekeler, Terry, your 3 guys, your best 3 playmakers that you got on offense, except for whatever the Bill's doing right now. And that's the thing, is like, if they do everything else properly, it'll allow Bill to have some room to do some stuff. If they start committing a lot of guys to the box because we're punching them up the gut, then you can have Bill out of the screen.
By the way, if we are able to get Bill going, just to be clear, Bill specifically, it's over.
It's over.
Yeah, I completely agree. So just we're on the same page here. I think it's going to be hard to get Bill going against this front. But if we can.
You saw those games numbers last week, right?
Yeah. That's why I want the more physical back to be, and the veteran in particular, Austin Ekeler, I think is my preferred choice for this. But I do think of Chris Rodriguez. Again, I don't think we're activating him. But if I'm like overthinking this thing, I like the way he runs for this matchup specifically.
100%. And what I said last year, as far as me always loving when they had the 2 running backs back there in the backfield, that has now changed. All you need is one of those running backs and Deebo Samuel. If you have that, no one knows what to do. Like, they don't know what's going to happen. You saw as far as a little whirly twirly crap that we're doing with Austin Ekeler and him. No one knows what you're doing. You have too many Swiss Army guys. That's how you kill this defense.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on this side of the ball? I will give one more, which is just that Sam Laporta, who is one of the best tight ends in the NFL, did his thing, 6 catches for 79 yards. And when Goff had the time and found him, it was acres of space to be able to run. And so that's another zone beater, is that tight end position. Is it Zach Ertz? A lot of people would think so, but it could be a sneaky opportunity for Ben Sinnott, of course, is the quickest one, but like John Bates, if we bluff a block and let him get open, I think he could get a huge chunk play in this game.
I don't disagree.
All right. And so with that, let's go over and flip the script to the Green Bay Packers offense, which at times was just lightning against this Detroit Lions defense and against our Washington Commanders defense that did quite well against the New York Giants. So same question over here, K-Dot. What matchups are you looking to exploit on this side in our favor, and which ones are you worried about?
Well, I think the number one thing is what's real from week one, right? So like if so there's some things that happen for both us and for both them after week one. And I think people should have legitimate questions about. There were moments in that Detroit Packers game, and even though I had what I believed about Detroit, and we'll get into why I'm right about everything soon. But the idea is there were of what I saw football-wise week one, and it was some great football we saw week one, if we're being fully honest. It was a great week one.
It was awesome.
A lot of things historically. If I were to ask you who looked like at any given point during last week, like the best team in football, or looked like a juggernaut, or looked like the team that could be 10-0.
Packers in the conversation.
Yeah. They have to be, right? Yeah. Like they were right there. The final score doesn't reflect it, but there were moments in that game where it was like, oh, they're going to do whatever they want to now. Oh, okay. Like that, it was like they can get to that level. Is that real? Or is Detroit backtracking that much? And I actually think that's the case on offense, but whatever. Are they backtracking that much? And the other component would be, if you were to look around the league and say, from a defensive front standpoint, going into what you thought was going to happen this season and going what it is you thought did happen, who looked like they probably had the best front four in the NFL? Is that real? Or is it the New York Giants? So, like, there is an element of, like, I think early on in this game, we're going to figure out very quickly what part of that is, like, more real compared to more not real. What is going to be the status quo compared to anything else? And that, to me, is where, like, everything is going to lie mostly is on that defensive line. Because, once again, if our defensive line is playing to the level at which we saw them play last week, and if they're going to get better, then it's the only thing that really matters as far as on the defense, because everything else will eat off of that. It's what we've all talked about, right? Like, if they do what they need to do as far from a pressure standpoint, it makes the corners' jobs a bit better, right? Makes it a little bit easier. You're going to get some stuff that might be not on time to the receivers. That's good. If the defensive front does what it is they did last week when it comes to early downs, is stopping the run, that makes them a little one-dimensional. That only helps us, right? So, like, if the defensive line is playing the same long lines as what they played in that Giants game, then this entire season looks very different than what any of us thought this defense this season was going to look like. So that's just primarily looking in as far as this matchup. But overall, we're looking like actual stuff. Green Bay has Josh Jacobs there at running back, and I actually think it's a damn good fit. And I think Josh Jacobs has been slightly underrated as far as a running back in the league because of what was happening when he was with the Raiders.
Sure.
They don't really care about it. In my opinion, what it is the Packers offense is doing is running just enough to have you respect it so they can throw a ball over your head. That's it. That's all they care about, is getting just enough time for Love to sit back there, play action, and at all those receivers that they had that they try to give Aaron Rodgers that are just burners. Because you can turn on red zone at any given time. You don't know if it's Dobbs, what any one of them dudes will be in the end zone on a 60-yard bomb. They can eat off that. They love that crap. So that's something you got to make sure you're staying really, really disciplined in doing. Yeah, mixture looks up. A lot of what it is I saw in week one, it's a lot of disguising some things. It's a lot of just showing Jordan Love some things and then going to other things. But the most important thing is that physicality on the defensive line. Do not allow them to start establishing a running stack. Do not allow them to actually be one-dimensional. Know that when they do things to Josh Jacobs, it's just play action. Or they're just going to eliminate that aspect of the game itself. And if we get into a point where they've just given up on the run, you'll win this game.
So I do anticipate that we'll be able to be effective against the run. So Josh Jacobs is more of like a hammer, right? Like you give it to him. He's not super elusive, but he's trying to wear you down because as the game went on in the fourth quarter, he scores his touchdown and he gets a 15-yard run, which 15, not a lot. But when the defense is exhausted, that's them quitting. Right. So like that is what Josh Jacobs brings to them. So if you see us being successful early against him, good, but I expect it personally based on what we have on defense over here.
So you got that win
early on. That leads to what Jordan Love do we get? Right? Because every other drive, he's spectacular and then he's very, very wild. So you get two different quarterbacks. The first drive, you get maybe the best quarterback in the NFC or the NFL. And then the second one, you get I don't know, a rookie. And then the third one, oh, we're back. Everything's great. Like, I mean, it was wild watching this game. The first drive, he converted 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 6, and one of them was a touchdown.
Yep.
And they were perfect throws, all of
Yep.
them. The very next one, nice throw over the middle. Oh my God, we're going to get 2 straight good Jordan Love drives. Then a wild throw. And it was like, oh, okay. Did it slip out of his head? No, mechanics the same. That's just Jordan Love. Right. Then the next one, 2 plays, 70 yards, touchdown. Both of them. Great throw over the middle to, I believe it was Romeo Doubs. And then they ran a pick play. That's something I wanted to point out. We played a lot of man, and that's how you beat cover 1. They ran a little pick. I think they had Savion Williams set the pick, and then over the top, Jayden Reed touchdown. That's it. So we need to be very, very aware of these little pick plays because we like to play man. So I'm curious to see what Joe Witt does with that. Do we play more zone against him? I don't know. I want to see how versatile the secondary is. I believe in them in man, but I also think Matt LaFleur is very smart. I also think he's going to be able to find ways to get these guys open. And then depending on what Jordan Love we get, could be a long night, but he's going to throw you a couple because that's the next part. He kind of loses focus at times. There was one drive where he threw a damn near perfect pass to Anzalone. And for those that don't know, that's a Detroit linebacker. He dropped it. The very next play ends up being defensive holding, so this gets called back. Horrible throw. Brian Branch picks it off, returns it for a touchdown. The very next throw. So, I don't know what we're going to get with Jordan Love. He could kill us, but he could also give us a couple. And so that's where early on, it's important we capitalize. I'm talking first half. You capitalize on those 3rd and longs. You will get 3rd and long, just with the way they play and with those 2 potential injuries to Aaron Banks and Zach Tom, which leads to my last point. Sorry, this is long-winded. Von Miller, this is a golden opportunity because he tends to line up on that right tackle. Zach Tom is the right tackle. So if he plays, he's a bit banged up with that oblique injury. If he doesn't, it is a 2nd-round rookie, Anthony Belton, okay, against Von Miller. Right. So this is a golden opportunity to be able to force Jordan to throw it quickly, to be able to force a strip sack, to be able to end a drive and force a field goal even. So I am more excited for this side of the ball because of if this defense plays well against this offense, what does it mean for our season, K-Dot? So I'm more excited for this side.
I'm with you. I do think that you're 100% right. And a lot of things that he's going to throw beyond the sticks. He's going to throw beyond the sticks.
He'll air it out.
Yeah, so you got to make sure he's not completing those. If you can get, oh shit, sorry, I almost just ripped the whole computer down. There is an element of he's going to throw beyond the sticks. So what is that? What do you have to do? That requires time. So that Zach Tom matchup, I smiled when you said when you said Von Miller, which is true on those 3rd and longs, and I told you what it is they try to do personnel wise on the 3rd and long with Luvu and with Von Miller. And that's when they can usually pin their ears back and come. And that's what they did in week 1. And I expect more of the same. But the guy who I actually think needs to do something, especially in those early downs, do something, especially when it comes to specifically Jordan Love and where are they going to have him lined up? Because they got everybody lined up everywhere is Dorrance Armstrong, who's another guy that I did not talk about when it came to the All-22, but I wanted to. I got a big portion of Dorrance Armstrong. Just saying. I think everybody saw 9 pressures in the game.
Wow.
Armstrong was a problem, bro. That's the guy. There's a lot of things that I just want to do to muddy the waters for Jordan Love, to not get them to get into the rhythm or get into the groove. Like I said, they only want to run to set up the play action, to give Jordan Love time to throw that ball like you want him to. And once again, if you get him into those positions where he's not doing the play action, which in order to do that, you got to do good coverage and you got to get the pressure in. Don't allow him enough time to do the play action, the clip that they want to do it at. Do it where as soon as he's done the fake handoff, he's around. Oh, shit. You need to do that. And I think if that defensive line that showed up in that New York game shows up here and they play with the same level, especially knowing the injuries that they have on that offensive line, you're going to have opportunities. This is why, like I said, early on in this game, we're going to know real quick whether or not this defensive line is serious or not serious. And in other realms, when they do get into the red zone and for opportunities they didn't throw a 60-yard bomb on you, they got to look out for is Tucker Kraft, the tight end there for him. Now, overall, I never really get a good idea on what it is we're doing against tight ends at any given point in time, because it feels as though right now tight end's a weird position across the league. Feels like there's some guys are like top echelon, like really, really great, and there's just a lot of guys that sort of middling. And there's just so like I don't recall or remember any tight end recently just beating the brakes off of it. So I don't know if it's an actual concern or not a concern, because when I think about it on paper and I think about Louisville and Wagner having to deal with tight ends, I don't love it.
Yeah,
but I
think Will Harris is supposed to help with that.
I would assume,
imagine.
Right?
Yeah.
But I also think the other part that we're looking at, and something that I do want to see them do on those 3rd and longs, is simulate pressure with Louisville and drop him back in the coverage. I do think that that's going to be a wrinkle in this game that could cause Jordan Love some problems if they allow Louisville to kind of step back for 2 reasons. Number one, I do think if the defensive line is doing what they need to do, even outside of Louisville attacking, it's going to force Jordan to throw the ball under the sticks. And what I need sure tackling before they get first downs. We do not, under any circumstance, want them to finally start getting the check downs to Jordan, and they're converting anyway. I think you just got to muddy the waters. If Louisville's on the side that Tucker Kraft is on, and it looks like Louisville's coming, and Louisville always looks like he's coming. It's like if they drop him back, I think Louisville actually might have a chance to get in the pick or something in this game if they play him right.
He did it against the Eagles. You'll remember when Kenny Pickett thought he was coming and then all of a sudden drops back. That's a pick. So it's a good shout for sure. One other name that I wanted to, well, not one other, a few others. This wide receiver crew for the Green Bay Packers. Jordan Love hit 6 different receivers on his opening drive. So there is no look out for this one guy, right? Like that's just important to know that it's not one guy. It's going to be Jayden Reed is probably their most dangerous one. Romeo Doubs also quite dangerous going over the top. Then there's Dontavion Wicks. There's their first round pick, Matthew Golden, who's also a punt returner for them. So they've got some guys. Savion Williams, they're already using, 3rd round rookie. He does kick returns. So like they have a lot of pieces that they're willing to use. They just signed Christian Watson to like a 1-year, $13 million deal. I think he's just out with injury right now. But like they've got guys. They've got guys. Fortunately, don't need to worry about Christian. But it's everyone's got to be locked in. This isn't a like it's Malik Neighbors. Stop him. Everyone has to be aware because Jordan doesn't just go one read. He's looking around. So that's why that D-line winning is so important. Make it one read. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's good. Like the cornerbacks, you guys are going to be on some islands, and the idea would be, especially those top 3 corners, take care of it. Like Amos, you did a good job. Like you didn't necessarily do anything that I needed to shout out in the All-22, but you did a good job. That actually means you did a good job. Marshawn Lattimore, yeah, and then and Mike Sanderson, like play asses off. The only time Noah Benogany had a lot less snaps than I thought he was going to have, but I think that's also just based on matchup. But it's I'd look out for that. I do think that there are going to be some more rotation and stuff that's happening in this particular game. So everybody be sharp. But bottom line, if the trenches do what they need to do on both sides of the football, you start looking at this game, you start feeling something different than what it is you're feeling when you first entered this week.
And with that, why don't we go ahead and go to our predictions over here at K-Dot, where we're both 1-0. Both the teams are 1-0. And so the Packers on a short week are favored by 3.5 points, and the over-under is 48.5. So from you, K-Dot, as always, I need a score, I need a winner, and I need a player of the game.
My favorite damn score, 23-20. Love that score. I love that score because I still don't trust Thursday Night Football. It's just a thing. Is Al Michaels going to sound like he wants to die, or is he going to sound like he gives a damn about the game? It's 50, I'd say 70-30 in one direction typically. I'm hoping that'd be the case, but I just think the injuries for the Packers are happening in very specific places that allow us to kind of feed off the things that happened in the Giants game just a little too well for me. And I'm willing to go out there and say, even though at the beginning of the season, I thought that they'd be better on defense, I did not expect what it is I saw this defensive line. I'm going to believe that they're legit. So give me the Commanders winning 23-20 against the Packers.
Player of the game?
Terry McLaurin. I do think he's going to have some opportunities on offense. And I think if he catches like 2 deep balls, I think both of those could be touchdowns, and I think that'd be the absolute difference in the game.
Okay. Cool. So I am also picking the Commanders because I trust the quarterback more. I do think Jordan Love may make a mistake or two that allows us to be able to do whatever we want to do. And I think the jitters are out for Jayden now. And so I think that really helps out. His legs should be able to help Conerly out is the way I'm thinking about it. Micah could ruin this game on his own. And this isn't just like a national media take, oh, Micah Parsons, the shiny new toy. He literally lines up against a rookie. So it's possible. But I've got the Commanders winning. I've got it as a high-scoring game, 31-27. I've got us winning. My player of the game, last week I was between Deebo and Amos, and I was like, I'll go Amos. This time I'm going Deebo. For a lot of the reasons you had mentioned, K-Dot. And also, he's been there, done that against the Green Bay Packers in the playoffs and the regular season. Green Bay fans don't like Deebo Samuel, and we are going to learn to love him even more. So we're both picking the Commanders. We will go ahead and see what happens. But now it is time for, it's called the side piece report, but really it should be called the K-Dot victory lap. Because man, oh man, what a week for this guy. And before we even get to the side pieces, look, fair is fair. I roast the guy at times, sometimes a little too easy on him. I'm realizing that after the week he just had, so I'm going to start cranking it up. But this week, I got to give him his kudos. Josh Allen, best quarterback in the NFL. That looked amazing on Sunday night, that take. The Chiefs, third place. Well, maybe long season to go, but the Chargers win without Rashawn Slater over there.
They got the Eagles.
What'd you say?
Chiefs got the Eagles this week.
Chiefs got the Eagles. Jalen Carter is playing. Suspended for a game. Turns out he had already served it. Very weird wording, which pissed a lot of people off.
But he didn't play.
He didn't play. The Raiders beat the Patriots. I'm going, what the hell? But K-Dot goes, Geno Smith told you. Pete Carroll told you. And, I mean, the piece de resistance. J.J. McCarthy on Monday Night Football, who through 3 quarters, I'm not going to lie, I was enjoying myself. Like, I was like, oh, okay, cool. You want us to draft him? And then in the fourth quarter, I was like, is this Tom Brady and Joe Montana combined? What the fuck is going on right now? 3 touchdowns in the fourth to lead them over Caleb Williams, who we now all know just isn't that good. K-Dot, over to you. The floor is yours. Take your victory lap. You can even push back on the Caleb thing. Today is your day. Go ahead.
I want to spend most of the time on the Caleb thing just because of that stupid goddamn report. I really hated that article. Jonathan James McCarthy. Can you do me a favor? How many games has the man lost since high school?
Like 1.
It's like 3.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Look, man, I told you guys, I didn't think he had the best arm. He's not the fastest. He doesn't do any of the physical things better than any of the other guys. But his intangibles.
Do you know how angry I was with Caleb even more? Because I was just like, close this game out because you're leaving the door open. The moment JJ threw 1, I was like, uh-oh. I was like, Caleb, please. I'm actually on your side this time. And of course.
They're talking about JJ. They're talking about what stories from the huddle and the locker room. He's already become a legend. That's all I told you.
Player of the week.
Look, here, I will. Before I even get into anything with the JJ thing, I have to say, I was still wrong. Like, it's Jayden Daniels. Like, I was still, like, as much as I might be able to gloat, all I predicted last season was that I really liked the top 3 quarterbacks that got drafted, or top 4 really quarterbacks that got drafted. And I really did think it was like a pick your flavor sort of situation. Jayden is above them. He's above them. He just is. But I'll tell you, you wouldn't be upset if Drake May or JJ McCarthy was playing for you. You'd be like, all right, well, we could have Jayden, but you wouldn't be upset. And that's all I'm saying is, like, from a quarterback standpoint, I'm not getting into the Caleb thing with you just yet.
No, that wasn't a Caleb thing. That was me being like, I would be upset if we didn't have Jayden.
Okay. Well, I mean, all right, I'll put it to you this way. If Chicago drafted Jayden, it was out of your hands.
Oh, yeah, no, then I'm feeling much better. Correct.
That's what I'll put it to you that way.
What I'm saying is if our team passed up on Jayden.
If we passed up on Jayden. I get it. Yeah. Also, but the other thing with the J.J. McCarthy thing is that what I also have to take consideration is he's not a rookie. Like, no matter how much it is that it's his first game, the thing that I cared about with JJ McCarthy was the intangibles, right? He had a year with those guys. Like, it's
That
not,
helps. Yes.
it helps tremendous. You had a guy
Good
that,
point.
like, they're all rooting for him. So, like, the moment that he steps in, it's like, no, we got this dude's back. There was no question about it, right? They ousted Sam Darnold, and it was like, this is the dude. And you can see it. He's on the sideline holding court with Justin Jefferson and stuff like he's a 10-year pro. What? Like, those are the things that I cared about when it came to JJ McCarthy. I thought that's what made him special.
I texted you this during the game, and then after the game as well, because, I mean, it was an amazing performance, especially the end. He's one of 7 quarterbacks to account for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and certainly the first one in his NFL debut. So, look, all the flowers and credit to him. What was most impressive was he threw the pick 6, and he was taking shot after a physical hit, right? Like over and over and over and over again.
His jersey looked so rough.
Completely. And for him to be able to not only maintain composure, but almost sharpen the tools in his toolbox when the game mattered, was, you hear about it, K-Dot, you even told us about it. But I was like, it's college, it's different. That was as impressive a performance as I could have imagined for him. And so that was incredible. I'm curious to see if it continues as he plays other teams that have better quarterbacks, for example, that can maybe close a damn game out. But that's what it is. I mean, it's your day. We do have Atlanta against Minnesota.
It's one day.
It's just one day, but it's his day.
It's
right.
His day.
And so I give it to him, and I give it to you. Yeah.
Thank you. But it's no, and yeah, you're what, Vikings, Falcons?
Vikings, Falcons.
And
I liked what I saw from Penix. I'm happy. I
don't think Penix is a bad quarterback. I think they got to figure out what's going on with Bijan in that run game, but like beyond that, like I think they got some pieces. And Kyle Pitts, finally
could be the year. I'm telling you, it's the year.
I think it might be a thing. But overall, and then the Raiders, man. I've been telling everybody, like, that was the team that I was like, yo, I don't think they're a 500 team, but I think they can play like one or above one any given week. My entire thing with the Raiders going this season, it's not a team I want to play. Because I think by the end of the season, they have a record that you're kind of embarrassed you got beat by them, or you're upset that you got beat by them. But you shouldn't be ashamed if you do lose to them, because I think they just got some pieces in some areas that is just like, you got Geno Smith, who's shown from a veteran quarterback standpoint. You got Alshon Gentry, wherever you want. I did that specifically from it.
Yeah, I
know. The Brock Bowers of it, which you hate seeing him go down at any given point of time. But like, if they do just enough on offense in the positions that, like, how many times have you heard me talk about like how I would go up in the draft to go get a tight end that I thought was special, right? Mm-hmm. And I also really think running the football is like a vital thing. I think getting the bridge veteran quarterback is a good thing. And then defensively, you need a pass rusher that puts fear of God in people. Check. Right? It's like, if you got those things, you're not fun to play. Like, you're just not fun to play.
Well, I would also say that the thing that I underestimated, at least watching that game, again, this is all one game, but it's the K-Dot victory lap, so I'm giving appropriate dues. Michael Mayer as the second tight end. Is like, that's sort of the cheat code for me.
And I loved him too. He was my favorite
so like, watching that, I'm like thinking about Gronk Hernandez type thing where I'm like, oh, okay, when you have 2, right? Like, maybe you can do your best to take away 1. You then need another guy big enough and fast enough to guard the other tight end. Like, now you're running into problems. And so the Raiders do present matchup problems for a lot of teams.
No doubt. And like, and there are things on your team. If Christian Gonzalez is not playing for the Patriots, they're not going to win games. Which is what it is. Like, that's just a fact of life at this point.
On the subject of Super Bowl picks, just real quick, the Ravens need to move on from John Harbaugh. This is ridiculous. That team is so loaded. That team is time and time again. Punting that ball was inexcusable.
That was bad.
Okay.
But that's the thing, is like, it starts at the top, but you can see it in the players with the Baltimore. They're waiting for things to go wrong. They're waiting. They're not soldiering through it. They are literally waiting for the bad thing to happen.
It's the coach.
Yeah, it's the coach. Like, it's And it's like John, but that's the thing is like, depending on where you are, what you need is just going to be different. What your needs are going to be different. And it just seems like if I'm an NFL, if I'm an owner that needs to start building something from nothing, I want John Harbaugh.
I agree. There's some coaches that are good at that.
They have absolutely plateaued in what they can be with this particular team with him as coach. And look, at the end of the day, it's 1 week, but this track record is insane. And I still think that Buffalo game proves something to me going into this season, which is I think Baltimore is the most talented team in the league. And I think that game actually proved that. I also think Josh Allen has become the best quarterback in the National Football League. He's not the best player in the National Football League. I'd still give that to Lamar Jackson or Saquon Barkley or maybe even Micah Parsons. But he's the best quarterback in my opinion. And you saw that. To me, it's the growth. Josh Allen 5 years ago or 4 years ago compared to what it is you just saw in that game, different dude, different guy. I can do hero ball, which they do got to figure out as far as the running thing. Like he ain't gonna be able to walk in 5 or 6 years, dog. But right now, if he willing to do it, like let's go. I feel really good about everything I did. I feel good about all my picks. I feel even better about my Tampa Bay pick.
Yeah, I am going to reserve any thoughts until around week 3.
You should. I'm going to be so wrong.
So that's where I'm at. But it was a hell of a week for K-Dot. And with that, we go over to the comment mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
I'm the shit.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right, thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. Beginning with, let's see, who are we going to begin with here? Let's begin with Blood Clot. Been a while, huh? Shout out Blood Clot. I'm so happy we won week 1. We don't do that very often. Kind of sets a tone in the locker room, and we're going to need that going into a short week 2, which got a thumbs up. K-Dot, your reaction to Blood Clot's comment.
Yeah, I mean, winning week 1, like at the end of the day, week 1 is not going to end all be all your season. If it does, you were never going to make it. Like, what is wrong with you? It's kind of like, this reminds me of a Dave Chappelle joke I can't repeat. There is, yeah. I still don't want to put too much on week 1, as I'm especially coming down off that segment we just did. But I want it. You won against a division opponent early. Those are great things.
Yes.
Like they'll only help you as the season goes forward, or when we're trying to jockey for position or whatever. It only helps. Like to bag this early and to do it in the way that we did it. Godspeed, because that's not a game that beats everybody. We took advantage. We got that.
You're just trying to rack up dubs while people are all figuring it out, right? Like the NFL is very weird at the very beginning. Everyone's sort of figuring themselves out. They're finding their rhythm, their timing, etc. So if you can get wins during that period, then you're golden moving forward once you do have it figured out. Like the Cincinnati Bengals, for example, a sloppy 17-16 win over the Cleveland Browns, who they historically struggled with. Did it look bad? Yes. Was it bad? Yes. Did they win? Yes. That's all that matters. They are 1-0. They historically start slow. They can feel good about the result, and that they can pocket, because if they had beaten New England last season in week 1, when the NFL was weird, they would have been in the playoffs last season. So just win. Completely agreed. And Tony sort of echoes this. Like A-Train and Clarendon, we got a sloppy dub. Share this ish, which is just a great comment there, Tony. Couldn't agree more. A-Train is a menace. Kid, out your reaction there.
You know. I'm glad that you're finally at a point where you can.
The fictitious character A-Train is a menace, yeah.
Since 2019, Washington has lost 2 openers. Do with that what you will.
Cool. The win meant nothing. We go to.
I don't think they were against mostly the division opponents, though.
When was it? Okay, so Arizona, I remember. That was the Sam Howell game. Remember that? Jahan Dotson catches the winner. We're like, oh, man. Do we have quarterback? Jahan's amazing. That's 2 touchdowns in his debut.
Yeah, 2-0. We started at 2-0.
Yep, and then ended up with the number 2 overall pick. Gotcha.
The year before that, Jacksonville, 28-27. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, that's the thing. Week 1, most of these guys have not been division opponents. To bank that this early in this division, especially after what we just saw in Philadelphia and Dallas do, there's an opportunity, guys.
There is an opportunity. Jamal Bibishar Bonwi goes, disappointed in the last drive before the half. Blew away 7 points with Jayden Daniels getting selfish with that run, in my opinion. K. Your reaction to that comment?
And that's what I'm alluding to, and that's why I try to do it as softly as I possibly could, is that if I take last year out of the equation, and what I was most shocked at is how much Jayden proved me wrong last year, it felt as though this year, maybe with the gap in time, there was a revert back to the hero shit that he was trying to do at different times, and it's just a different league, son. So, like, the stuff before the half, stop. We won the game. I'm not hanging this over him. This is not some grand indictment on Jayden. Once again, it's not that I have last year to still look at, so I know what you're capable of doing. You just got to do that less. That's it.
Yeah, you beat me to the punch in the last episode regarding Jayden, like sailing balls, stuff like that. And actually, this is Big Javi's comment, so we'll combine the two in the response. At the 9:17 mark, Big Javi goes, respect to K-Dot for calling out Jayden for sailing a few passes and throwing slightly behind a few receivers. We can't overlook those things just because it's 5, with 3 thumbs up. So that whiteboard over there was filled with a lot of stuff around the game. So what I do is I have drive 1, drive 2, drive 3 for each team. And so many of them were Jayden's off, Jayden's off, Jayden's off, Jayden's off. He did not have a good game. And he admitted it. That was the biggest thing for me, was he knew it, right? If he ended up being like, oh no, I thought I played well, I would then be concerned. But for him to go, I know I didn't play well, and know that we can get better, and we still won, and he came through when we needed him to, is encouraging. And I anticipate that he will be better. A lot of quarterbacks had some jitters. I anticipate he'll be fine, but I do think he was feeling himself, like you were talking about, K-Dot.
Yeah.
You know, he's huge. Right? Like, all the stuff is being told about him.
It's got to. He looks like, you just see the way he carries himself. There's a little more swag. Yeah. Like, he's a little more swag. He's doing the Madden commercials. He's doing like it. And once again, as far as any star quarterback, we got a guy who's much more in line with Andrew Luck, which we're lucky for, than it is some guy that wants to go party and do dumb shit, right? So, like, absolutely, that element of it, once again, I'm not saying he's doing anything too flashy or do anything. I'm not criticizing at all, but it would be understandable. We called him Jesus. What?
Let me tell you. Listen, I think I told you about the line off. I'm not about to get that recorded. What I said that one time before the Eagles game. He won't be above criticism. Here, right. Just to be clear. No. I love him. Right. I think so highly of him. I know K-Dot does too. But he's not above criticism. If he has a bad game, we will tell you guys he had a bad game. Just to be clear. That's good.
The only thing that just went through my head right now, if because I do think one team is better than the other team. Maybe not because of what I just saw with the defensive line. Maybe not. Still just week 1. If J.D. McCarthy went to Super Bowl before Jayden Daniels, I still think Jayden Daniels won the Super Bowl. How right was I? Was I right or was I wrong?
I do love that we are already here after week 1 of the NFL. I got what I needed. I got what I needed.
Here's the thing. You know, I'm cursing because I think we're going to go more than 4 minutes. Fuck you. So, like, I spent last year on the receiving end of so much bullshit.
Not for me, though.
JJ, huh?
Not for me.
What was the name of your fantasy team?
Yeah, that was it. And he does. He does interview. For those that don't know, JJ McCarthy interviews well with him in a suit and tie. I thought it was clever. I thought it was a nice little.
This entire last year and a half from everybody because JJ got hurt. And I'm like, fine. And I sat with it. I took it. I took all of it. And on top of that, knowing I'm wrong because Jayden was Jayden. This is it. This is what I have. I never got to fantasize about anything outside of Jayden Daniels was the god. I was wrong. This is the reality we're in. Now it's just like, I might have been right.
He's trying to play in the world a little bit over there. Big hobby. What'd you say?
I win either way.
You do. Hey, listen. If we,
I'm gonna put this out there now. JJ McCarthy and Jayden Daniels will both win Super Bowls.
I will go ahead and withdraw whatever I was about to say. Big Javi goes, why? Why the hell did we not attempt a deep ball against those DBs? Not much of a play action game plan. I just don't get it. K-Dot, your reaction.
That's some of the stuff where you kind of alluded to, or you were asking me a kind of question. I kind of skirted around a little bit. What does open look like down the field compared to what Jayden was holding on the football for, compared to what it is that he was taking advantage of? And I think everybody at this point has seen the pro football, his where he threw passes to, like what I forget what they call that, the throw map.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
Yeah, I know the passing chart. Yeah.
And the thing that popped out to everybody is one of the criticisms that Jayden Daniels had. He didn't throw around the middle, and he did that almost exclusively in this particular game. So I don't know exactly what the deal was with all of it, but what I will say is the shots that he did take, there were guys that were open. He took the right shots, and there were just opportunities that were happening with what was happening with the defense, where it was okay to just take what the defense was giving him. And I think what you saw with the deep shot to Terry is kind of, I think, what you're going to see with this offense. I think you're going to see some deep shots to Terry. I think you're going to see some deep shots, especially Jalen Lane, as time goes on. That's the guy to look out for. But with what we're doing and how we're playing, it's a lot of it's like West Coast philosophy, in the sense of like, let's get the ball out quick and let's kind of move in chunks down the field. Like, just let's go. I think that what we saw last year was out of necessity. Not necessarily the best thing to do and have those sustained drives. Even the rushing attack from last year is what had those long, sustained. Jayden uses his legs, and we got a 9-minute drive, and you're like, "Oh, that was cool," right? Mm-hmm. There was not a lot of that, or you got bombs. It was pretty much no in between. I think this year you're going to see more methodical drives, but it's going to be a lot more like timing. Jayden getting the ball out quick. Maybe somebody breaks a tackle and takes one in the house, but I don't think we need to push the ball down the field constantly during the games. I think we could take our shots when we need to.
Right. I think those will open up, and I think the timing will get down, and I think the whole field will ultimately be available to us. I agree. Vindo goes, when was the last time we did not give up a touchdown? So I had to look this up. I was curious. And it is week 7, 2020. Do you remember who we played?
No, I'm lying. I saw the shit on Twitter.
Okay.
I saw the shit.
Well, I ended up combing through it. I was like, it's been a while. Thanks. I should have just waited. So it was week 7, 2020, Dallas Cowboys. I believe Kyle Allen was quarterback that day. The score was 25-3. And I don't remember if it was the deep ball to Terry over Trayvon Diggs. I can't remember if that was the one. Terry McLaurin, 52-yard pass from Kyle Allen. We went for 2 after that. 15-3, trying to make it 17. That did not work. Did Trayvon Diggs play? Is the question.
It was Kyle Allen. It was Kyle Allen was playing quarterback for us.
Advanced defense.
And that was that Andy Dalton Ben DiNucci led Dallas Cowboys.
Trayvon Diggs gave up the touchdown.
Wow, Ben DiNucci had a great stat line.
You really?
I mean, 2 or 3 39 yards. Took 3 sacks.
2 of 3 39 yards.
Quarterback rating 109.
Okay. Hey, that's something. And then we conclude with Brendan Nichols. Shout out. K-Dot, on a scale of 0 to 5 top golfs, please rate JJ McCarthy.
5 top golfs. He gets them all. And once again, like I've been saying, JJ is one of those guys. He's one of those guys. You see him few and far between, but every once in a while when they come through, you kind of pay attention to it. It's just the dudes that are just, they command a locker room the moment they walk into a door. Like there are some guys that just have it. Cam Newton has it. Joe Burrow has it. Tom Brady has it, but it got suppressed in New England for the most part. Until you got through the Bill Belichick bullshit. Joe Montana had it. Like that's the stories that you hear coming out. Like I sent Ahmed a clip with LaShawn McCoy and Emmanuel Ocho.
I couldn't believe it. Call it out immediately. Stop what I was doing.
Horrible. I hope their algorithm. But it was the stories that are being told about like how cool and calm he was and how it was sort of like, some people fake it till you make it. Jameis has some of that. Where it's like Jameis has seen too many movies and he just thinks this is the time to make it, but it don't really make sense to anyone but Jameis. So it's like, all right, we love you, but what? The other guys just have it. They just got it completely locked in. They know what to say it, how to get everybody built in, how to calm everybody down, how to get the best out of everybody. Most times those guys are not the best player on the team. I tell you, Joe Montana to me is not the best player. It's clearly not the best player on that 49ers team. It might be third or fourth when it's you go to Ronnie Lott, you go to especially Jerry Rice, right? Like it's just, I think that's the best guys. Just get it out of them. Just get these guys to just play better. And that's what I think about JJ McCarthy. He is not as good as Jayden Daniels. But and I also think Jayden just looks at football differently than JJ does. But I think that there are two ways of looking at football and living life around football is so interesting because of how different it is and to kind of get to the same outcome. It's vastly different ways to skin the cat as far as that goes. JJ is like a psychopath, but then he also loves meditation and listens to Bob Marley and likes to go home and play with his dog. What? But then you got, and then Jayden just, if I'm not playing football, I'm sad. Like that's pretty much it. We're a combo of guys, man. That draft class, man. I'm telling you, I loved that draft class.
Yeah, it's turned out to be solid so far. I still think Bo Nix is gonna. We'll see. We'll see on Bo Nix.
That's the one prediction that the defense is legit.
Defense is great. That Denver defense is great, but we'll see what happens with them. Real quick. So I was listening to The Herd in the background on Monday. And at one point he was, sorry, not Monday. It must have been Tuesday then, because Caleb Williams didn't play very well. And so he's like, there are a lot of guys that didn't really in the first round didn't really work out that are just sort of me guys that, and the first name he said was Cam Newton. And I was like, what? He was like, yeah, you only had 3 winning seasons. I was floored by that comparison. If Caleb ended up having a Cam Newton career, the Bears would maybe build a statue of the guy. Like, that is league MVP. That is carrying a team to 15-1, or in this case, 15-2, 16-1, whatever. Losing a Super Bowl, but you made a Super Bowl. And he's the driving force. I just thought it was a crazy comparison.
Cam Newton would already be the best quarterback in the history of the Chicago Bears.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. They Caleb,
so I was like, what?
Who is the best? Because Rex Grossman's top 5.
I keep hearing the name Sid Luckman, but I've never seen him throw a ball.
Yeah, Sid Luckman. But there you go. It's like, who's the best quarterback to ever play for the Cleveland Browns?
Bernie Kosar.
Otto Graham. You gotta go back a ways. Okay. Bernie would be third. You probably pick Baker Mayfield over Bernie, actually.
For what he did in Cleveland?
Yeah.
I mean, I love Baker.
He took him to the playoff. He was like, what? It was Cleveland, dog. What are we talking about?
Anyway, go ahead.
It's interesting, but look, man, whenever you want to do the Caleb combo on here, we can do the fucking Caleb combo on here.
I need you to send me the doc.
Okay,
it sounds like we're not paying that money. But this was the show. This was District Divided, a DC Sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening as I extend this another 3 minutes and 52 seconds. I am Amit. That is K-Dot. And if you enjoyed this episode, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and K-Dot.
All right, since I already broke the seal, we're just giving up on it this time.
Just
okay?
Go for it.
We're just giving up for it this time. Number one, if you think political violence is the way to handle things, especially in this climate, to create murders out of certain people, you're a fucking moron. This is completely unacceptable, and it is ridiculous beyond ridiculous. And you can use what I just said for a lot of particular situations, but I think everybody knows who I'm talking about in this particular case. Also, if you're a Packers fan that ends up writing a long-form 3-part article bashing the quarterback of a team that you already hate just to stir chaos in a young man's life, you're a piece of shit. And the shit is shit!
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys, and we will see you either directly live after the game, or we'll release Friday 2 p.m. as we always do, or maybe a morning release. We'll figure that out. We'll let you guys know. Follow us on Twitter at District Divided. We'll let you know there. So until then, take it easy, enjoy the game, and we'll see you after.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.